Chapter 23 through 26, Introduction to Plants. Adaptations of plants. Today's plants probably evolved from green algae. To survive on land, plants had to be able to do three things. First, they had to be able to absorb nutrients. Second, they had to be able to prevent water loss. The plant parts that aid in prevention of water loss include a cuticle, which is a waxy protective covering of a plant, the stomata, which are pores in the leaves that allow for the exchange of gases, and guard cells, which are specialized cells that regulate the opening and closing of the stomata. Plants also have to be able to reproduce on land. They do this through the use of pollen, which contains the sperm and allows it to be carried by wind or animals instead of water. This is a picture of a cross-section of a leaf so that you can see the different structures that make up the leaf, including the guard cells, the stoma or the stomata, and the cuticle. Characteristics of plants. Plants have cell walls made of cellulose. They are multicellular and eukaryotic. They are autotrophic, which means they produce their own food through photosynthesis, and they contain chloroplasts, which are structures that contain the green pigment chlorophyll. Kinds of plants. The first kind of plant is a non-vascular plant. Non-vascular plants do not have a vascular system. They need water for sexual reproduction, and examples include mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. Another kind of plant is seedless vascular plants. They have a vascular system, which is an internal system of interconnected tubes and vessels for transporting food and water. Phloem transports food, xylem transports water. Seedless vascular plants have spores with thick walls to prevent drying out, and examples include ferns, club mosses, and horsetails. Gymnosperms are seed plants that produce seeds in cones. They have a vascular system. Examples include conifers, cycads, and ginkgos. Angiosperms are flowering plants. They produce flowers, which are reproductive structures that produce fruits and seeds. Flowers are used to attract birds, animals, and insects to carry pollen. The reproductive parts of the flowers are called the stamen, which is the male part that produces pollen, and pistil, which is the female part that produces ovules. They produce seeds enclosed within a structure called a fruit. The fruit provides food, protects the seed, and helps disperse the seed. Seeds contain a supply of stored food called the endosperm. Plants can be classified into two groups. The first group are monocots. Monocots produce seeds with only one seed leaf or cotyledon. Their flower parts are in multiples of 3. They have leaves that have parallel veins. Examples include crocus, corn, and grass. Dicots produce seeds with 2 seed leaves. Their flower parts occur in multiples of 4s or 5s, and they have leaves with branching veins. Examples include roses, apples, and beans. Here are some pictures of examples of monocot and dicot parts. Monocots have 1 cotyledon. The floral parts are in 3s. They have parallel leaf veins. The pollen grain has 1 pore or furrow, and the vascular bundles throughout the stem's ground tissue. Dicots have 2 cotyledons. Floral parts are in 4s or 5s. They have net-like leaf veins. Pollen grain has 3 pores or furrows, and the stem's vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. Plants in our lives. All plant parts, such as roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruit, provide food. Plants provide us with wood for paper, lumber, and fuel. Plants can be used to make certain medicines. Plant fibers make paper, cloth, and rope. The plant cell. Structure A is a vacuole which holds water. Structure B is the cell wall which provides protection and support. Structure C is the endoplasmic reticulum which transports proteins. Structure D is the nucleus which controls cell activities and holds the DNA. Structure E is the mitochondria, which makes energy into usable ATP. Structure F is a chloroplast, and it's used to convert CO2 or carbon dioxide into C6H12O6, which is glucose. Structure G is a Golgi body, and it packages and distributes protein. Tropisms. 2 examples of tropisms are phototropism, which is the way a plant grows or bends in response to light, and geotropism, which is the way a plant grows or bends in response to gravity. This is an example of phototropism. This animation is also an example of phototropism. This is a picture of geotropism, as well as this. This is also a picture of geotropism. Tropisms continued. Hydrotropism is the way a plant grows or bends in response to water. Thigmotropism is the way a plant grows or bends in response to touch. This is hydrotropism. This animation is also hydrotropism. This is a picture of thigmotropism. This is an animation of thigmotropism.